All right, welcome back, Truth Seeker. It is April 20th, 2021. A lot of people know this day as the cannabis holiday. Some people also think of it as Adolf Hitler's birthday. But want to cover a lot of the news in the last 24, 48, 72 hours, somewhere in that window. There's just been so many stories that have come so fast. And in this video, I'm going to do two of them. I'm going to do Scottie Pippen's son at 33, follow up on what I put out yesterday, and then the death of Walter Mondale on the 201st day of Jimmy Carter's age. Again, if you're new here, you might not know what 201 is, but if you follow the work, you know exactly already what's up. And on April 19th, which is a big day for the Jesuits in history, who have a lot to do with the number 201, who have a lot to do with Washington, D.C., and who's in federal office, and also the world of rig sports and the NBA. And anyway, Scottie Pippen, his son, dead at 33 on the first day of Taurus, and a lot of people are confused. They're saying, oh, I thought that was the last day of Aries. Well, it is. It's the last day of Aries and the first day of Taurus, because at midday in 2021 is when the transition happened astrologically. So it was both days. The last day of Aries was April 19th. The first day of Taurus, the bull, was April 19th. And the headline on April 19th, Scottie Pippen, the Chicago Bull, loses his son at 33. And, of course, he wore the number 33 with the Chicago Bulls, where he played alongside Michael Jordan. And a lot of people consider them two of the greatest players ever to be on one team at the same time. And coincidentally, the Bulls' record was 23 and 33 at the time of the death of Scottie Pippen's son, at age 33, when Jordan wore 23 and Pippen wore 33. Of course, that's 56 games played, a number we've been tracking through news and sports all year. It was part of the reason we liked Matsuyama as a strong contestant to win the Masters, which he did this year. In our community, we were pretty sure before it began an Asian golfer would win because of the mass shooting in Georgia, where the Masters is, that began a spree of stories that focused on racism towards Asians. And again, year after year, we're showing you how news and sports are scripted together. And that's because the same people who control the news are the same people who control the sports, control the politicians. And again, big news stories with Scottie Pippen, a sports star, and Walter Mondale, a political star, a vice president and a man who ran for president as the leader of his party in '84, that infamous year. But again, Scottie Pippen, the Chicago Bull, his son dead at 33. He wore the number 33 for the Bulls, and the news comes on the day that Taurus begins, April 19th. So, and again, I'd encourage people, I'd encourage any of the many people who left the comment that Taurus wasn't April 19th. And realize we talked about this exactly a year ago to the day, because we talked about why The Last Dance with the Chicago Bulls with Pippen and Jordan and that team, why that came out last year on April 19th, 2020. That wasn't the day it was supposed to come out to, but they moved it to that day because of the whole COVID thing. And we said, look at that. They move it to the first day of Taurus, the Bull, about the Chicago Bulls. A year to the day later, we're reading about Scottie Pippen's son's death at 33. And all throughout that series, you're seeing Pippen in the 33 jersey. And if you ever watch Pippen play I realize there's a bunch of people now who are, they're near 20 years old and they never really watched Pippen or Jordan because that was before their time. But these were two of the biggest stars in the world of sports at the time. So anyhow, the first day of Taurus, April 19th, the death. And with regards to 33, the story was that his son actually died the day prior, but they broke the news on April 19th. And again, it's because it's all ritual. But he died the day before, which was a Sunday. Again, all this, if you're new here, we talk about gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words. Again, when you learn about astrology, when you learn about numerology and numbers and words, which is gematria. When you learn about these things, you see how it all comes together. I've been teaching about this for almost 8 years now. And in August, it'll be 8 years of putting out this information and research. And, I got pretty good at it pretty fast, but definitely since 2016 and on, the work's been, really hard to Nobody's been able to defeat the work in a debate. People just call names and say it's all a coincidence, but that's not a real argument. Nobody's been able to disprove, and everyone who stepped up and tried to disprove has just been proven dead wrong. But again, just consistently showing that the same stuff's going on day after day. And I've been here every single day. That's what a lot of people don't realize. It's like I've been doing it for that many years, but I've also been here every single day, putting out more work, more evidence, and for the purpose of saying, and I'm always amazed at how many people are like, what's the point of knowing this? What's the point of knowing how your world is being operated, how the information's being contrived that goes in your mind, how the sports games that so many people are obsessed with are truly rigged? The things that people are investing their time and energy to, understanding what that really is. You don't see the value in knowing that, so you don't have to be the one stressed out all Sunday watching football games on the couch, as so many Americans do. So you don't have to sit there and live in fear of the news and get dictated what to do, what to think by the news, what to believe. I mean, if you can't put two and two together, again, I offend a lot of people, but we're in a day and age where they're chemically poisoning people in a variety of ways. Water, food, and a number of other ways that you can't even talk about. But that people are really dumb. Like, they can watch the news, and the news will tell them all night that 2 + 2 is 5, and they'll believe it because they saw it on the news. And you're like, you believe that? And they're like, yeah, it was on the news. Okay, since when's what's on the news true? I can't remember anything true on the news, honestly. 2 + 2 is 5. They'll just keep saying it. You'll be like, what? 2 + 2 is 5? Because it was on the news? Okay. But that's how people are. But anyway, Scottie Pippen's son died on a Sunday. Notice how in Gematria, Sunday's 33, like sun, like bulls, the man who wore 33. Sunday. Again, what is Sunday? It's become the Christian day of worship, where they remember the crucifixion of Jesus and his resurrection, and most people believe he was crucified at 33. And by the way, Bible is 33. And isn't it interesting that when you say Bible, you say bull, like Taurus the bull? The Bible. But like I've always taught, the point I was trying to make is, since the beginning, I've saw that this is all connected biblically, right? This is what I've been pointing out. My research has always pointed to the same things: letters and numbers, dates. I've always known a few things about astrology, but I always said, man, if somebody knows more about astrology, it'll go so much further. It took Rambo. I was probably doing this work for 4 or 5 years before Rambo. Probably about 4 years, 4.5 years. Rambo. Then he starts calling in, connecting the astrology, and he gets better and better each week. And eventually, you just keep going, there'll be more Rambos. There'll be more everybody who's contributing right now, from Chigozi to Neo the Hacker, to Dan Barrett, to Derek, to, all these people, Brother Berg, Arthur, everybody that does it, Kayla, there's a lot of people, Luxie, just all sorts of people that do it. And I know a bunch of names I'm forgetting right now, but, young Bryson, Ben, there's a bunch of people. I know I'm forgetting a bunch of names, but just everyone who's doing it. But, as long as we all stay consistent, more people will find out, more people will spread the work. And, yeah, anyway, coming back to this from the very beginning. Again, just all the same points, though. I've been... There's nothing that has changed in the time I've been teaching this. We've just learned more. And, for example, in 2013, when I started, I'd actually missed this entire part of 33. I wouldn't have seen any of it in 2013. I would have saw this at the end of 2016, because the first 3 years of the research pretty much just used 2 ciphers and occasionally Jewish gematria. But the original 2 ciphers I learned was from Manly P. Hall's The Secret Teachings of All Ages. A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, D is 4, up to Z, the 26 letters, 26. Just use the alphabetic order, turn letters into numbers. And then the next cipher I learned was the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology. So A still 1, B still 2, C still 3. Instead of Z being 26, you just take the numerology of letters that are a double-digit number. So because Z is the 26th letter, the numerology of 26 is 2 plus 6 is 8. You just add the digits in 26 together. 2 plus 6 is 8, so Z is 8. So why the 25th letter would be 2 plus 5 is 7. X, the 24th letter, would be 2 plus 4 is 6. XXX is 666 this way, you see. But, it would A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, D is 4, where that cipher changes when you get to J, the 10th letter, because the numerology of 10 is 1 plus 0 is 1. K, the 11th letter, is 1 plus 1 is 2. L, the 12th letter, is 1 plus 2 is 3. So L's, just make each letter a single-digit number. L's 3. M, the 13th letter, would be 4. 1 plus 3 is 4. So on. But those were the original ciphers we knew. And then at the end of 2016, Derek came along and said that he wanted to discover more ciphers because he heard me talking about Faith Giovanni's, book, The Divine Triangle, where she teaches gematria, but she only teaches one cipher, the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology. But she says in the book there's over 100 ciphers in use with English. And so Derek started researching them and putting them in his calculator. And, I encouraged him to do the reverse because the law of reversals, Aleister Crowley, the occult. And when he first put the calculator together, I was just looking at all the ciphers, and I just started to notice the reverse just made so much sense. There was just so many things. Like, for example, with regards to this whole piece on Jesus, remember when we first began, the most simple cipher was the alphabetic order. Come back to this Luther Vandross thing, too, here in a second. But hold on. If you didn't notice, he's the Google Doodle today. It's his birthday. But Jesus is 74. The story of Jesus, the gospel's 74. Jesus spoke in parables is 74. The word Messiah is 74. Cross is 74. Again, if you do the statistical analysis, there's like a little bit better on average in English. It's about 1/3% chance that a word will have the same gematria as another word. So in mathematical terms, it's like, hold on. Let me put a calculator and I'll just show you this. Online calculator. For all of those words to have the same gematria, just that group of words. Okay, so we'll just say 0.035. It's like right around there. It's right around a third. I'm not going to write 0.033 because then you guys will think, like, oh, he just coded the 33. It's not like that. But it's around this percentage that a word in English has the same gematria value as another word. There's 170,000 words in the English language, and on average, there's like 580 some words that have the same numerical value. So it's this small... You know what? Here, let's just do it this way. I'm going to clear this. There's about 170,000 words in English. Whoops. I hit the wrong button. How do I clear it all the way? Hold on. There we go. Okay, I'm going to type out 170,000. And it's like 580 some words. I'm going to make it even more favorable. I'm going to make it an even bigger sum. We'll just say it's 600 words. Oh, whoops. Come on, Zach. Time to go back to school. I did it backwards. I got to do 600 divided by 170,000. Okay. 0.003529. Okay. I think before I even typed in 0.035. So it's even smaller. Even smaller. Yeah, that's correct. About a little more than 1/3 of a percent that words will have the same value. So what you have to do is you have to multiply this. 0.0035 is what we'll write out. So what you have to do to find the value is do 0.0035 times 0.0035, which equals, see, an even smaller number, 0.000012. So unlikely, right? But you have to do that for each time that Jesus equals 70, or the words that connect with Jesus in 74. So again, we have cross, Messiah, parables, gospel, Jesus. So we have those 5 words, right? But it doesn't even just end there. It doesn't end there. Again, you have to write out the word Jewish. The word Jewish is 74. The Christian understanding is that Jesus was of Judea, which would mean he's Jewish. So that's another word that fits in. Plus, this whole practice of coding numbers into words comes from Jewish mysticism, Kabbalah. So it has a Jewish relation, the practice of coding numbers into words, and it's called Gematria, which is 74, and then English is 74. I mean, what are the odds that all of these things are 74? And like I said, out of the 50 states, only the 33rd state, Oregon, sums to 74 with this cipher. Only 1 out of 50. So that's 2% out of the states. But, and then, you think of the word holy day. We have a holy day for Jesus' birthday, but that word is holiday, which is 74. And again, out of the 50 states, only 1 sums to 74, Oregon. And this nation's birthday is 7-4. So, I mean, you have to look at that list with the right mathematical probability and say that that's a coincidence and not purposefully encoded into the language. And then again, why 74? Again, these are divine numbers. The 4th book of the Bible is called Numbers, and God creates the world in 7 days. In numerology, 7 is divine completion, 4 is foundation. Also, Jews write the word God, G-D. It's a form of respect to not use the O. G's the 7th letter, D's the 4th, 7-4, right? Now, also, so the first 3 years that I taught this work, these were the 2 ciphers I knew on the screen, where Jesus is 74 and 11, the alphabetic order, and then the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology. And see, Jesus is 11 because J, the 10th letter, becomes 1 plus 0 is 1. E's 5. S, the 19th letter, becomes 1. U, the 21st letter, becomes 3. So much smaller numbers. So that's what we worked with for the first 3 years, plus Jewish gematria. And notice the word sacrifice is 206 in Jewish gematria. We're going to talk about how Scottie Pippen's son died on his 206th day of his age, and the news came 206 days after his birthday. You might recall last year in Seattle, they set up the autonomous zone on the day leaving 206 days left in the year in Seattle, the 206 area code. I said that day, look for a killing in the autonomous zone on June 20th, a date written 20/6, because Seattle's area code and its connection to sacrifice. They ended up reporting that a 19-year-old was killed in the autonomous zone on June 20th, which began the push to shut it down. Remember the autonomous zone in Seattle where the city was out of control, the anarchists took over right next to the Jesuit University, but a 19-year-old in Seattle. So anyway, those were the ciphers we knew for the first 3 years. And then at the end of 2016, we discovered reverse. And, right away, just a bunch made sense because Jesus Christ was 74 and he ran it in reverse. And let me see if I got my verse right here. So yeah, John 14:6, right behind John 3:16. Remember in Hebrew gematria, Jesus Christ is 3:16. But John 14:6 might be the next most known passage, from the Bible. Jesus answered, I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. 14:6, like 146. Jesus Christ, 146. Remember, modern science said Jesus' date of crucifixion was April 3rd, 4-3, the 93rd day of the year. And God's Son's 93, and crucifix is 93, and Nazareth 93. But anyway, just the way all this stuff that they sync it up. The verses, the same numbers. 43 is the 14th prime. The generations to Jesus are divided into sections of 14. So 151 is an interesting number because it's the 36th prime, and 666 is the 36th triangular number, and 666 is the number of the beast, but also the number of a man, and, man is made in the image of the gods in Genesis on the 6th day, and in Genesis 6:6, God regrets making mankind. But again, just so many things fell into place when we learned reverse. George Washington has that 74 as well. And if you look it up, George Washington supposedly had 74 generals. He was a Mason. Masonic is 74 at the most simple cipher. He had 74 generals in the history books, and 33 were Masons, and Masonry's 33. And so was secrecy, and so was order, and so was federal. And remember, that number has everything to do with human beings. The reason the Masons are obsessed with 33 is because of Kundalini, which says human spiritual ascension happens up the 33 bones of the human vertebrae. And notice in that same cipher that all those words were 33. So is people, so is person. They're all 33 in the same cipher. Masonry, secrecy, order, federal. And far and away, that cipher is the most important cipher. But, when we first started, I would have never saw that Bulls was 33, right? Because we didn't know these two ciphers to the right. So I didn't know that Bulls had the 33 connection, or Sun, or Sunday, or Bible. Isn't it interesting that good book's also 33 that way too? People refer to the Bible as the good book. So, again, sorry to be so redundant, but, by the way, the name Michael is 33, and Cleveland's 33, and the Bulls got their last win before this win. Well, they won the day of this game, and they stayed on 33 losses. But Cleveland's got that 33, and of course LeBron's 33, and James is 33, and NBA Finals is 33, and Jordan's father, Michael Jordan's father, he died 33 days after the NBA Finals that year. So I think they said Michael Jordan's father was like 5'6". It's like, how can that be? How can he be so short and his son's so huge? Okay. So again, all this knowledge though, it goes back to old world spirituality that's even older than the Bible. And when you study the Bible with this knowledge, you see that the English translations surely have this encoded. And again, as a reminder, the Catholic Church is responsible for the English language and the calendar that are clearly synced together and in tune with astrology, as we're talking about here with Scottie Pippen. But Sun, Sunday, Bulls, Bible, all 33, right? And notice the Bulls, like I said, they were 23 and 33. Here, let me make this bigger. You know what else? I noticed how they had those 12 wins at home. They had the 12 wins at home for that ritual too, sitting on 33 total losses. They pick up the 13th home win in this game. But the Bulls beat the Celtics last night, upset, so nice payout. And you noticed a lot of people in the comments, because it is Gematria Effect Sports, all are like, I'm putting my money on the Bulls tonight. Because they see the odds. They know the Bulls are a good payout tonight on a day like a ritual like this. And I'll remind people, just because somebody dies doesn't always mean that their team's going to win. It doesn't always work out that way. But the reason so many people had left the comment right away, and it's sad that this is the kind of world we live in. When you realize the patterns, you can even financially benefit. But at the same time, it's like, man, what I need is a bunch of people to go out on their corners with a megaphone and raise awareness about this ritual with, just this latest ritual. And every time it goes out there, people just need to wake up. So many people are idolizing, these stars, these leagues, and it is a sick mess. But, here, let's see what the score was last night. Bulls, Celtics box score. 102-96. The Bulls won by 6. They flipped it on them. And they were a 6-point dog, and they won by 6. And notice in the most simple cipher, Bulls is 66. But the 102, the 102 and the 96 are both standout numbers. 96 is big with the Freemasons, 102 is big with the Jesuits, and again, that's who runs the show. Just like Washington, D.C. is the land of the Jesuits and the Masons. Yeah, there's a not nice element to that 102 number 2, but I'll save it for another time. So there they are, 33 and 23. This is how CNN put it in their article right before the game where the Bulls faced the Celtics. I mean, classic franchises, right? The Celtics and the Lakers now tied at 17 championships apiece, NBA 17. That's why we told you the day LeBron signed with the Lakers, he'd win the Lakers their 17th championship in his 17th season, coming from the 17th state, Ohio, on the $153 million contract, the 17th triangular number when Cavaliers equals 153. But, again, you just see how scripted it is. It's just like earlier this year, you guys. Earlier this year, on Jordan's birthday, February 17th, the Wizards and the Bulls were both playing, and they were both 4-9 at home on Jordan's birthday. Easy money. The Wizards were big dogs in that game. Both teams won. The Wizards upset. Both teams became 5-9 at home on Michael Jordan's birthday. Again, the most pure cipher, the alphabetic order of the rules of numerology. You see how Michael Jordan's 59 and 76, though? Again, remember words like Negro, 59, 76. The word slave is the same way. Blues is the same way. Rasta's the same way. Remember Barack Obama's Secret Service name was Renegade, which is 59. And if you don't know this, look it up. It's all facts. Renegade. And his name, Barack Obama, is 76. And the Million Man March was October 16th, the day leaving 76 days left in the year in Acts 76. Barack's new book, A Promised Land, is 59 and 76. He released that 106 days after his birthday. Black is 106. Prophecies 106. Big rituals. But and again, the Bulls, it was their 56. They'd played 56 games before the ritual. Remember, that's what we're always talking about. That's the big number with the Jesuits who run the show. Society of Jesus 56, who operate on behalf of the Catholic Church. Freemasons, the plural, got the 56 as well. The Jesuits created modern Freemasonry. Yeah. So from Pippin's birthday, September 25th, to the news breaking April 19th, was 206 days after his birthday, which means the day before was his 206th day of his age. And remember, in Jewish Gematria, which we probably learned about probably about a year into my research, I learned about this cipher, and it answered a bunch of questions for me really fast. But sacrifice 206, and the news broke on the date with the 44, 64, 28 numerology, and again we see news break on this type of date. There's only one day a month that has this numerology. It only happens once a month. Next month it'll be May 18th. Then it'll be June 17th, then July 16th, then August 15th, then September 14th. And don't think in 2022 that's going to be the same thing, because the numerology changes. Move up a day. But he's got to do the math. Once a month, there's a date that'll have at least 3 out of the 4 ciphers with the kill gematria. And what did I just say? June 17th. So June 17th will have 44, 64, and 28 date numerology, plus it'll be the 17th of the month. But again, this is the gematria of the word kill. Alphabetic order forwards and backwards, and then with numerology forwards and backwards. These are the base 4 ciphers. And when I learned this at the end of 2016 and started really paying attention, I said, this is definitely the other half of the code. And again, the reason we were able to do that is because I had 3 years of work without these ciphers, and then I just went back over it with the reverse, and I was like, wow, look at how perfectly all of this fits together. From Jesus Christ to George Washington with the 74 thing like we talked about, to a million other things. And again, just like with the Pippen thing, I'm telling you, in 2013, we would have understood a lot about this. We would have known Pippen wore 33. You know, we would have seen the first day of Taurus, plus some other things we're going to cover, but we would have missed this whole thing with the sun and how that really does tie in with where this ritual is coming from. It's paying tribute to the same thing in history, you know. And that story is the story in the Bible as well, with the crucifixion of Jesus. Okay. So I had the kill date numerology, and in a minute we'll get to how Mondale actually died on this date. And he's got this Mondale 64 and 28, and he died 44 years after becoming vice president, and that's a big number with Jimmy Carter, just like how Georgia equals 44, where Jimmy Carter's from. And they called Georgia for the Democrats in this past election on the 44th day of Jimmy Carter's age for Biden. Okay. But some people have some good notes. Michelle Kate wrote, Scottie Pippen, number 33, son dies 3 days after the Bulls got their 33rd loss to the Grizzlies this season. He was also 33 years old. Stephen Curry, on the same day as the Bulls' 33rd loss, scored 33 points when he was exactly 33 years old, 33 days. He has the Pi birthday, and it's funny. I just saw that they beat Philadelphia and became 29 and 29. Pi's 29. I've talked about Steph Curry rituals on his birthday with 29. I remember for his 29th birthday, we predicted he'd score 29 points, which he did because Pi's 29 is Pi Day. But he became 29 and 29 against Philadelphia on the 109th day of the year, which is the 29th prime. And again, the Warriors are originally from Philly, and I'm pretty sure the year that he scored 29 on his 29th birthday, if I go back and look, I'm pretty sure he played Philly that day too. They do a lot of rituals with Pi and the Warriors and Philly. And again, because it's all... I just need to finish my new book that I'm working on. The new book that's coming out next... The next book will be called Illuminati confirmed the Jesuit order, and I named it that for a reason. A lot of young people think they're slick saying that Illuminati confirmed, and they didn't even realize the Illuminati was created by the Jesuits, May 1st, 1776. But, yeah, I'm just going to show you how they got it so nicely tied up. The calendar, the language, mathematics, the gematria, Catholicism, pi, cycles, circles. I just my next book's not nearly as long as my other books, but I'm just trying to write it for trying to be more strategic with this book, and just not as much, but well, people who've read my books would say there's no filler really at all. It's just full of information, but I'm just trying to write it for the person who's doesn't have as much time but really needs the message, and in a way that it'll be easy for other people to share with their friends and family too. And so more accessible, I guess, but also more undeniable. I feel like both my books are undeniable, but this one will be more undeniable. So anyway, I'll just save it. I'll just save it for the pages of that book. But trust me, you'll really understand how it all comes together so perfectly. Geometry, gematria, sacred geometry, the calendar. It's very clever what they've done. And especially with that Jesuit IHS logo. Okay. But yeah, if you don't follow my posts or my blog, a lot of people left a lot of good comments here. And apparently it was 1,133 days since Jordan's father died. And again, Jordan's father died 33 days after the finals concluded that year. And NBA Finals is 33, and so is Michael. And some guy named I Am King is trolling. And notice how YouTube doesn't really record thumbs down. It's because they want their trolls to not be called out. Have you guys ever thought about that? How YouTube doesn't record the thumbs down on comments? Why not? Why is that so hard? Is that just too expensive of a feature? I doubt it. By the way, Scottie Pippen's son died on the day, leaving 257 days left in the year. Remember the phrase, blood sacrifice is 257. 257 is the 55th prime. Scottie Pippen's 55 right now. Numerology and Fibonacci equal 55. 55 a special number. It's the 10th Fibonacci number and the 10th triangular number. And Satan's 55 and 10. And we know the stuff that we're exposing in the news. It's not to say that numbers and numerology is evil, but the stuff that we're exposing certainly is. Like this death, which is mockery of spiritual stories, including the Bible. And again, what's in the Bible, a lot of it came before. And again, there's a reason that this story keeps getting retold and paid tribute to constantly through all of the world of entertainment and sports. So a year to the day of Pippen's son's death, The Last Dance, April 19, 2020. You can see Pippen's 33 jersey. You can see Jordan's 23. Notice The Last Dance is 68, like Chicago Bulls, like basketball, like Antron Pippen. If you want to add to that list, Catholicism 68, mathematics is 68. There's some more there. Again, the Club of Rome established April 7th, 68, time 47. Date can be written 47 or 74, Romans 74. All roads lead to Rome. What we were just talking about was 74. Jesus, Christianity, the religion of Rome that replaced Mithraism. By the way, you guys, anytime you see Neo the Hacker leave a comment, check it out. He does really good work. The news did come on Jordan's 62nd day of his age. Jordan 62, so is Sacrifice, so is Faustian Bargain. He says the news comes a span of 8 weeks and 6 days after Jordan's birthday. Blood Sacrifice 86, so is Pippen, so is Human Sacrifice. Don't forget the finals was coined in 86, and the greatest team of the finals era was that Chicago Bulls team. And don't forget Len Bias, drafted by the Celtics, was 86th in a big ritual by the numbers, which I've covered many times before and in my first book. And again, Len Bias, some people say that Len Bias was 86th for Jordan. That's what a lot of people's theory is. He was the Maryland superstar drafted by the Celtics right after they won the first finals, the 86 finals. Notice the Bulls were playing the Celtics. And again, all of this stuff that happens now is part of the ongoing ritual from what came before. It's an ongoing story. It's his story. So yeah, I didn't do a good job of being concise there at all. But if you need concise, just follow my website. You can read through these posts in moments. Oh, by the way, with regards to the whole 62 thing, when I read his comment, this is what it triggered in my response. Another big 62 right now is this list. Minneapolis is 62. Floyd is 62. Riot is 62. Park is 62. It's the Park police accused of killing George Floyd. Houston, Texas is 62, where Floyd's from. You know, the place that got frozen over on the day we said to circle for blackouts and craziness, way in advance. Beyonce from Houston put out her Icy Park clothing line the week Houston froze over. The energy capital of the world as J.J. Watt leaves town and goes to the solar capital. Again, if you missed why we called there to be blackouts and craziness on Valentine's Day, it had everything to do with the Great Reset, which is about transferring from transferring from fossil fuels to renewable energy. J.J. Watt, the energy guy, wanted out of Houston, the refinery oil city, and went to Phoenix, the solar city. Again, all this stuff is straight up mockery. And again, for the people who are totally asleep, who don't know that weather warfare has been admitted to, we're getting closer to it being 100 years admission now. 1952. So next year will be the, 70-year anniversary of admitted weather warfare, and people still don't know about this. But again, we're deep in the game, and presidents have told us what game it is, the New World Order. But anyway, all these 62s going on with George Floyd. And now remember, George Floyd was killed on the corner of Chicago Avenue, 38th in Chicago. And by the way, with regards to 38 and death, for all the people who know, something that was dug up by a follower was that DMX, he died 38 days after his manager's birthday. By the way, everybody should know that. I think his manager's name is Steve Rifkind or something like that. 38 days after his birthday, death, murder, killing, R.I.P. 38, rapper 38, Kabbalah 38, Gematria 38, English 38, Gematria, the killing name, a song that's out there, another clue. But anyway, George Floyd on the corner of 38th in Chicago. All this stuff going on in Chicago right now. Dante Wright, bringing it back to the NBA, right? Dante Wright in Brooklyn Center, Minneapolis. The game right before that was the Lakers beating Minneapolis. No. The game the night before that was the Lakers beating the Nets, Brooklyn. Lakers beat Brooklyn. The Lakers are originally from Minneapolis. And then the day after the Dante Wright killing, the game scheduled that got canceled or rescheduled was Minneapolis and Brooklyn. It's like, what are the odds of that? And especially when last year we were showing how the George Floyd thing was synced up with the finals and the NBA season and in favor of the Lakers, which was exactly correct. Again, here we are again, intertwining news, sports, ritual. You got Dante Wright. Every time they show him in the media, he's got the red Chicago hat on. You got the Adam Toledo Chicago killing. You got the 17-year-old girl Chicago killing in the news right now. You got the 7-year-old girl killed in a McDonald's drive-thru in the news right now. All these stories in Chicago. And the McDonald's headquarters in Chicago. Never forget, in 1984, there was the San Ysidro Massacre at a McDonald's on 18/7, July 18th, 187, like the homicide code in California. And it was 187 days after Ray Kroc died, the founder of McDonald's, the guy who made it what it is. But so much focus on Chicago, Scottie Pippen, Chicago Bulls. And it's like energy, right? It's energy, it's ritual. The word energy, you know how we were going through the huge long 74 list earlier? All the 74s. And again, it really does seem like it's all to like, whatever they believe in, that influence this has. I mean, ultimately it comes back to energy and controlling people with that energy and influencing them. But again, right at the start of Taurus, the bull, you think of bulls, you think of big energy, anger. They're trying to provoke people right now. What are they going to do with the trial? Are they going to recreate the Rodney King beating acquittals with Derek Chauvin, the chauvinist? Just all these wordplay rituals, numbers, it's so obvious, man. It's just so obvious, and people still don't want to grasp it. And that's just all it is. It's just they don't want to grasp it. They don't want to know the truth. The truth is, I guess, too scary for their mind. So instead, they want to sit back and say it's all. I guess I see why, man. I guess I see why. I never really bought into this system ever. Like from a young age, I was questioning it. I suppose if you're invested in this for all of your life, it might be different, but I never felt very invested. Okay, so Walter Mondale, the vice president for Jimmy Carter and who lost to Reagan in the election in 84, he died April 19th, reportedly. And they said he talked to Jimmy Carter over the weekend, so they had a conversation. He just dies days later, okay. But again, on the 64, 28, 44 date numerology, numbers associated with killing, and in this case, Mondale's 64 and 28, we see these same patterns month after month. The people who die on these dates typically have connections to these numbers. And with regards to the 44, again, Georgia's 44, where Jimmy Carter's from, and they became the presidential tandem in 77, which was 44 years before 2021. And I should have looked more into Mondale because I said Jimmy Carter with that 44 ritual for Biden. Because again, they called the here's this right here. I'll show you this in case you forgot. We definitely documented it when it happened. Again, we had Biden winning the election many months in advance, but the day they called Georgia for Biden, it was on a date with 28 numerology, and Joe Biden becomes the first Democrat in 28 years to win Georgia, right? So now a Democrat, Mondale, 28, ends up dying on this 28-date numerology. But from Jimmy Carter's birthday to the day it was called November 13th. The day they did that was the date with 44 and 64 numerology as well. Duh. Because 11 plus 13 plus 20 is 44. 11 plus 13 plus 20 plus 20 is 64. So now Mondale ends up dying on this 64-44 date when this was the ritual here, part of the ritual for calling the election for Biden. So Jimmy Carter's 44th day of his age, Georgia 44. It was a date with 44 and 28 numerology. I was pointing out the Jimmy Carter Jesuit order thing there, and I will be pointing it out again in just a moment. But notice from Mondale's birthday, January 5th, to his death, April 19th, was his 105th day of his age in the most pure cipher, Walter Frederick Mondale, 105. And again, you guys, I always hate when people come and say, oh, he has 4 ciphers. Again, it's just always the most annoying comment to me because, again, for 3 straight years, I had 2 ciphers, and I was able to decode all the news and accurately predict things and call future events before they happen with just those 2 ciphers. It's just once we realized that there was reverse, it allowed us to see with even more detail the ritual. And again, I'm not going to stop showing that because dumber and lesser minds have a criticism about that. Again, you don't alter what you do to appeal to dumber people, but sadly, that's the way the world operates because the world operates for profit and they need bigger audiences to dabble in the information they put out. A lot of stuff has to be dumbed down to meet the retard masses where they are. I don't ever do that with my work, So anyhow, dies on his 105th day of his age. And by the way, a lot of people have come along and say that my work is dumbed down and they're doing all these million different extra things and all these different ciphers and looping together all these things with numbers that are close to each other. To me, none of that's helpful to the work because gematria is not that complicated. I'm trying to show people how simple it is what they do day after day and how undeniable it is for it to work out this way day after day. And I'm always saying the same things. If you could only have 1 cipher, just take the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology because you're going to see enough with that cipher. So anyhow, and realize the 2 ciphers that we originally learned, alphabetic order with the rules of numerology, Mondale's 64 and 28, we would have saw that he died on the 64-28 date, right? On his 105th day of his age, going with his full name. And I always call Minneapolis the 93 city, which is exactly where he's from. Minneapolis, Minnesota's 93 in the most pure cipher on the 93rd meridian. We just had the player on April 3rd, the 93rd day of the year. The big thing in sports was Gonzaga's long shot to win the game, giving him 93 points on the 93rd day of the year off the hands of Jalen Suggs, who's from Minneapolis, Minnesota, the 93 city. And, the name of Aloysius de Gonzaga's got the 93 gematria, what the school's named after. And Triclavianism's 93, which again is in the Jesuit logo, and Gonzaga's the Jesuit school. And again, they tell us the sun's 93 million miles away. And when you write out God's son, when you write out Nazareth, when you write out crucifix, they're all 93 with the most simple cipher. And again, the Christian section of the Bible, Matthew 1:1 begins with the 930 chapter, 930. Adam lives to 930, the first man. But these numbers, the man from Minneapolis dies at 93, a number that has everything to do with time. This is a ritual in time. And then adding insult to injury, from Jimmy Carter's birthday to the death, his 201st day of his age. And the Jesuit order is 201. Ignatius of Loyola is 201. April 19th is the day Ignatius of Loyola created the Jesuits, but created the military order within the Jesuits. He became the first superior general. Superior general equals 84 with the most simple, superior general equals 84 with the most pure cipher. Jesuit equals 84 with the most simple cipher. The last superior general, Adolfo Nicolas, just died at age 84. Pope Francis, the first Jesuit pope's 84 right now, who has 84 birth numerology, December 17, 1936. But the reason Timothy McVeigh's also on here is because Timothy McVeigh blew up the Oklahoma City building on this day, and it happened to be the day that the Jesuit order became a military order, and Timothy McVeigh was military, and obviously it was a military operation, and again, the brother of the governor of Oklahoma at the time, his brother wrote a book called The Final Jihad, where there's a Tom McVeigh who blows up the Oklahoma City building. And that book was first published before it happened, and then it was taken out of print. See, that's the thing. They took that book out of print, and then they brought it back into print later in history, and now when it's printed, it has the new printing date. Again, it just shows you how history and truth can be covered up in real time. The Final Jihad, the brother of the governor of Oklahoma, foretold, nearly with the exact name of who did it, in a book. And by the way, if you don't know, Timothy McVeigh was put to death at age 33, exactly 3 months before 9/11. If you didn't know that, Timothy McVeigh was killed at age 33, June 11th, 2001. Say he killed 168 people. New York City's 168. But age 33, 3 months before 9/11, he was born in 68, the same year that everything went down in 68. 911, the National Emergency Dialing Code, World Trade Center construction, New York. 2001, A Space Odyssey, George W. Bush, Yale Skull and Bones, the New York Jets, only Super Bowl season. Big assassinations, MLK, RFK. And the Club of Rome established April 7th, 68. But the point I was making is the brother of the governor who wrote that book, my guess is, and the book is huge, you guys. The book is massive. But my guess is that, he's in the network and he knew that there was like this MK Ultra military project and he hinted at it. Tom McVeigh. Tim McVeigh ends up doing the same thing that's in his book. Tom McVeigh, and the character in his book, ends up becoming Tim McVeigh in real life afterwards? Really? The brother of the governor at the time? And again, you guys, why am I having to explain these things in 2021? Like, why has the internet not worked? Oh, yeah, the internet was given to us by the military. Maybe there's a reason it hasn't worked. But seriously, like, how come more people don't know things in the information age? And for anyone who doubts that, you probably still can. Once upon a time, you go to your library and check it out. I used to be sharing that back in the day. I used to upload a picture of the Seattle Public Library copy of the book. Say, go out and check out this book. You will not believe it. The Final Jihad. It even has a skull and bones on the cover. Okay. What else is... Oh, you see how he was the 42nd vice president? When he ran in 84, he was the first ever candidate to run with a woman as the ticket, the running mate. And look at this in light of Kamala Harris, since right now we have the first VP nominee. Look at this. Look at this. From her birthday, October 20th, she turned 56, that magic age. From her birthday to the death, 181 days later. That's the 42nd prime number. 42nd prime. And remember how those numbers go together. You know, when you write out Black History, it's 181, the 42nd prime. And when you write out February, it's 42. And again, 42 is code all over history. Slavery, you know, the N-word's 42. Again, February, Black History Month's 42. Jackie's 42. Cosby Show's 42. Huxtable's 42. Martin, 42. In the sitcom He Lived in Apartment, 42. You know, Malcolm X is another 42. Not a birth name, a given name. Stage name, Malcolm X, 42. Muhammad Ali, another stage name, 42. Also got the 201. Don't forget Jesuits, 42. Tuskegee's another 42. Look into Tuskegee, the 201 that were in the control group. Event 201, the coronavirus outbreak simulation. Anyway, 42 all over history. Moses Walker's 42, the first ever black baseball player in white major league who played in exactly 42 games in the 1800s. You know, Jackie was 1947, much later. But, and again, just all the other stuff we document in between. This year, DMX, the OD on 4-2. The black guy named Noah, after the ship stuck in the Suez Canal. He's crashing into D.C., Noah, black guy. Just a million more examples, man. Always coding 42. You know, the derogatory term boy is 42, right? But Black History on the bus 42. Like I said, the N-word's 42. So, but, oh, I know what it is. Barack Hussein Obama. I actually just noticed this the other day. It's when you do the second, because he's Barack Hussein Obama the second. It's also 181. And from his birthday on August 4th to the start of Black History Month, February 1st, is 181 days later each year. You measure from his birthday, August 4th, to the upcoming February 1st. From his birthday each year to the start of Black History Month, always 181 days. So doesn't that seem beyond coincidence that Walter Mondale, who ran for president in 84. Remember, they said Biden and Harris were the first ticket since 84 that didn't have an Ivy League education. They got the Jesuit connections, but not the Ivy League. And of course, Anthony Fauci, the Jesuit's been the head of NIH since 84, and Jesuits 84. And Jesuits also 42, the other number we're talking about. But doesn't it just seem beyond coincidence that he would have been the 42nd vice president, and then he dies 181 days after Kamala's birthday, the 42nd prime? And again, Kamala climbed her way to the top of the ladder in politics and became the attorney general, you know, by turning a blind eye to Catholic pedophiles. And again, the Catholic Church controls the nation. Again, the earliest days of this research, you guys, United States of America, realize this right away in the earliest days. United States of America, 84, Jesuit in 84. And like we talked about since the beginning, the Jesuits have always been in D.C., Georgetown. But notice, if you write out the Jesuit order with the reverse, it's 84 as well. And if you write out the Catholic Church in the most pure cipher, it's also 84. And again, the Jesuit leader is called the Superior General, if you can spell it right, which is 84 in the most pure cipher. And again, Adolfo Nicolas just died at age 84. And again, Pope Francis, he's 84 right now while all these big things are happening. And his birthday is December 17th, 1936, 12 plus 17 plus 19 plus 36, 84. But now Mondale, who ran in 84, dead. And again, just so perfectly synced with Kamala. For the person who's like, well, show me that 181 is the 42nd prime. Well, to that person, first of all, you should show yourself and become more independent. But here, number properties, numberempire.com. Number 181, is it prime? Yes, it's the 42nd prime. Again, we only put out facts on this program if you're new here. And you see how like Jimmy Carter and Jesuit order are 54 and 72 forwards and backwards? Remember, in that most pure cipher, John Carroll's 54. He established the first Jesuit university, Georgetown, January 23rd, 1789, while he was 54. And notice, Ignatius of Loyola, we normally talk about the 201, but 231 matters too because 23/1 is the day Georgetown was established. 231 is the 21st triangular number, and Jesuits 21. We're talking about Mondale, clearly a Jesuit ritual in 21. The 42nd vice president, who ran in 84. And by the way, you guys, you know how at the beginning of the year I said watch out for 73 and 21? 73 is the 21st prime. Walter Mondale's got that 73 in it. Like there's 73 books in the Catholic Bible, and all this is biblical, and Bible's 21. Bible's also 105 and 33. Remember, Walter Mondale died on his 105th day of his age. Pippen's son in the news at 33. Same gang pulling all the strings. Remember, I suspect that I have that very specific date that I expect Kamala to replace Joe Biden, and it has everything to do with 201 as well. 201, a number that has everything to do with the death of Joe Biden's wife and daughter and his son, who died 201 days before Pope Francis's birthday, whose name's Jorge Mario Bergoglio, which equals 201. And again, he's the first Jesuit pope and the first to ever live in Suite 201, like the Jesuit Order's 201. Oh, but I forgot to even finish my point about the 54 and 72. Adolfo Nicolas, the superior general of the Jesuits, who just died at 84 last year, May 20th, 2020. See how his name's 5472? You see the 225? He died on the day, leaving 225 days left in the year. And you see how his name's 12654? Just like John Carroll, one of the most famous Jesuits. And again, the 126 connects to the Knights Templar relationship, and I get tired of explaining the same stuff over and over, even though I do it almost every day. But again, the Templar motto is 701, which is the 126th prime. And the Jesuits have the Templar cross in their logo, and the Templars and the Jesuits both serve the Pope. And by the way, remember when Biden was stuck here forever and Biden was up 74 and they called it for Biden while he had 74 million votes and Trump 74, and they said Wall Street gave 74 million to Biden or 74 million more to Biden than Trump, something like that, and a few other ones on that list. But again, they use the same numbers a lot. And by the way, Google today, it's Luther Vandross Appreciation Day. And once upon a time, Darrell, who's the biggest Scottie Pippen fan in the world, truly, also called up and said, Zach, can you look into Luther Vandross's death? Because I don't see it on your website. And what did I do with it? I got rid of it somehow. But hold on, let me get it back up here. It's on my old site, freetofindtruth.blogspot.com. But it must have been on this day. But Luther Vandross, born April 20th, died July 1st. He died on his 73rd day of his age, or 72 days after his birthday. Jesuits control the world of entertainment. Jesuit Order 72, sacrifice, ritual sacrifice 73. You see how right in my notes, 73, the 21st prime? Again, this is the post from February 18, 2018. But what year is Google doing a tribute to Luther Vandross? In 21, right? Just like how at the beginning of the year I said, watch out for people with the 73 21 connection. I'd say this pattern fits right in. He died on his 73rd day of his age. And again, we've been all over 73 from the earliest days because in the two most simple ciphers, sacrifice 73, also 46, like Genesis 46 begins with a sacrifice, and ritual sacrifice 73. But Luther Vandross, you see how his name's 61 in the most pure cipher? Look at this. Luther Vandross is 61. Look at Google with the most simple cipher, 61. And now he's a Google doodle, right? Google always doing these tributes to seemingly famous people, and you go back and look at them, and they died by the familiar patterns. Entertainers, people that made the history books, people that were part of their story. But something that I realized that I missed at the time when I decoded his death is his name is Luther Vandross Jr. And notice in the most pure cipher, 71, right? What day did he die? He died on July 1st, 7-1. 7-1, Luther Vandross Jr. But yeah. Again, you want to be in... He also died on a date with 33 numerology, by the way. 7 plus 1 plus 20 plus 05. Luther got the 33. Like I documented, arsenic, 33, the 33rd element. Oh, and that's the other big one. Luther Vandross 182, and he died on the 182nd day of the year. So very fitting date for him to go. But yeah, just if you ever meet Darrell, his favorite sports player ever is Scottie Pippen, and he will tell you that 1,000 times because he wants you to know that about him. And then I just find it funny that he'll always bring that up, and then the day after Scottie Pippen's son dies, Google Doodle has a tribute for Luther Vandross. I'm just like, okay, Darrell likes Luther Vandross too. What I'm going to do is I have so much stuff to cover, and I'm going to have to be much more efficient because I took way too long just to do those two stories. But I'm going to do it on GematriaEffectNews 22 because it'll be the type of video that if, Google's on their cranky pants, they'll give me a strike for. You just never know. And I try to keep the strike-free content on Gematria Effect Sports. That's why the channel still stands, Gematria Effect News, the 80-some thousand subscriber channel just got deleted. Gematria Effect Sports is the longest standing channel right now. But if you don't know my other channels, Gematria Effect News 22. That's because 21 have been deleted. This is the 22nd channel. And, of course, Gematria Effect Sports, which we're on right now, I believe. At least I think I am. Then I have Zachary on the Corner, which is suspended right now. I've been uploading clips of my longer live streams, but there's a lot of good clips that I should have uploaded here, and I forgot to, and I realized that I didn't pack up some of them, and they don't stay up on Twitch TV for past 2 weeks. So there's already some things that have gone down the internet hole, but I've captured some of the good clips here. Seems like most people like this one right here the most. Yakima's finest, Mr. Clean loses hat after ignorant, estrogen-laced temper tantrum. I think that's what I called it, which was a very fitting title. But I've just been showing the good and the bad from being on the corner. So that's a channel, but it is suspended. They've already taken down 3 videos, so it's in danger already. Voices of Humanity suspended with 2 strikes, 1 more strike, and it's gone. And I haven't even really been able to use this channel for what I wanted to, but because I've been using it as a backup channel because I've just been dealing with so many suspensions on other channels lately. Even Gematria Effect Sports was recently suspended. But I have that channel as well, Voices of Humanity, and then I got the Signs Matter channel, and I probably won't put a lot of content on this channel for a while. At some point when I get the Signs Matter project going better than it is now, there'll probably be a lot more content on here. But I would encourage everybody to watch this video, this conversation with Chris. This is like one of the most honest people you will ever see speak on camera in your life. I'm not kidding you. And he shares some information that a lot of people should really consider. So he talks about being homeless and addicted and just things that have happened in his life to get him where he is, and why he lacks the motivation to get on a better path. But there's a lot that can be gained from listening to this man's words. So okay, so we got the Signs Matter channel. We got the Voices of Humanity, which is on its last legs. We got the Zachary on the Corner, suspended. Gematria Effect Sports, which you're probably subscribed to. And then a lot of people still need to subscribe to Gematria Effect News 22. And I'm going to start a live stream there in just a second because there's a lot more to talk about. So we'll leave it there, you guys. Have a good rest of your day. And don't forget to hit the like. I'll be on Gematria Effect News 22.